Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Samvad by Sitlob, where our tagline very aptly says, opening doors across India. What a year it has been, right? From establishing the association to welcoming members to conducting webinars, and today, finally, the annual conference, Samvad. I would like to thank our gold sponsors, Reverie Language Technologies, and our silver sponsors, Fiddle Technologies, whose contribution has helped us in organizing these events. Thank you very much to Reverie and Fiddle. I would also like to thank BITS India Private Limited, Crystal Hughes, Brahmam, and Ryan for supporting us. You mean a lot to us, guys. Thank you for all the support that you have provided. And of course, a big shout out to our partner associations, EUATC, GALA, FICCI ALIA, and Women in Localization, who have been kind enough throughout the year to provide discounts for events and supported Sitlob's cause to foster the growth of Indian language industry. And finally, and not the least, I would like to thank all our exhibitors who are present today in the expo, and I wish them all the best. Arth Shikshan, Women in Localization, Translation Panacea, Media Win, Nihon Global, Lingua Soul, and Native Ninja. All the best, guys. Without much further ado, let me pass on the virtual mic to our president, Sandeep Nulkar. Sandeep is an inspiration. His dedication towards promoting, showcasing, and elevating the Indian language industry at a global level is commendable. Today's conference is a dream come true for Sandeep, and I'm sure it's a very surreal and emotional moment for him. So over to you, Sandeep, and good luck for Samvad.
This has been something we've been talking about for a long time, and then it finally happened, and today we are actually hosting our first annual conference, and that's extremely gratifying. So very good morning to all of you who are listening in. On behalf of Sitlob and the entire language and language technology industry in India, I would like to welcome all of you to Samvad 2021, which is Sitlob's first online annual conference. It was rather ironic, I would say, that India, which is a land of 22 official languages and thousands of more languages and dialects, did not actually have an active body to represent its interest. However, that changed a couple of years ago with the founding of Sitlob, the Confederation of Interpreting, Translation and Localization Businesses. And like Madhu has already said, for that I must express my sincere and deep gratitude to the UATC, the European Union's Association of Translation Companies, and my very dear friend and the secretary of the UATC, Mr. Jeffrey Bowden. Their support in our formative months has really meant a lot to us. We could learn from their experiences and benefit from best practices that they followed, and were able to very quickly make Sitlob relevant on the national and international scene. Sitlob is also obviously very grateful to GALA, the Globalization and Localization Association USA, to Slater and Nimdzi, the world's leading providers of news analysis and research relating to the technology industry. We would also like to welcome our newest partner, the India chapter of Women in Localization. That was one, so to say, association that was on our mind for a long time, and finally it has happened. I'm very glad they are on board, and I'm really looking forward to working with each of these partners to put the focus on India's fledgling language and language technology industry. These have actually been very difficult times for the entire world, and India has seen its share of misery both from a medical as well as economic perspective. Just when the industry was sure that the first wave had played havoc as far as consumer demand and revenues were concerned, I think came that terrible second wave that hit many more businesses and hit much harder. The country and its economy are still only, according to me, limping back to normal. But given the magnitude of the horror that the pandemic had unleashed, I think it would be very to not acknowledge how reasonably well we have managed to recover. If I were to summarize how the market has changed post-COVID in India in one sentence, then I think I can safely say that need-based spending seems to have taken precedence over want-based spending. So what exactly are these high growth sectors in India at the moment? Well, to my mind, the top three would obviously be e-commerce, pharma, and OTT. The pandemic-induced lockdown and movement curbs marked an inflection point of sorts for the e-commerce industry in India, pushing demand to record highs and nudging new buyers as well as sellers onto the digital platform, and holding out promise of lasting growth for players in the e-commerce industry. In fact, the e-commerce industry grew by a very impressive 36% year on year, and direct to consumer or DTD e-commerce revenues grew a staggering 94%. So that definitely ranks very high up as a very high growth sector. New e-commerce consumers from tier 2 and tier 3 cities accounted for much of the growth, with a 90% year on year. This is especially great news for the language industry because local language preference is way higher in tier 2 and tier 3 cities than in large and metropolitan cities. So even the Indian pharmaceutical industry, in fact, grew at 59% year on year in April 2021. Then, of course, OTT was another sector that has seen exponential growth with an increase of 60% paid OTT subscribers. And finally, as they say, voice, video, and vernacular is indeed the future of content in India. Then we as language service providers also need to enhance our capabilities to include high quality voiceover, subtitling, video editing services so that we can really cash in on the demand coming from the OTT space. I think with over 75% of nearly 900 million internet users in India now being able to access the internet only in their mother tongue, I think these are really exciting times, not only for the language and language technology industry in India, but also for any global company in this space looking for greener pastures that offer lucratively high return on investment. I think it's a great time for Western LSPs to look at India as an opportunity for mergers and acquisitions, and for setting up probably their offices or back offices. And for those that are considering these options, I would like to assure all of you that Sitlob would be your trusted facilitator when it comes to a seamless market entry. I think partnerships of these kinds have already started happening with some number of foreign LSPs coming to India, setting up offices, investing here. And I think doing more of that will really help all of us come together and make the most of this really exciting market that we see around us today. I would like to end by wishing all of you a very productive conference, and I hope that you enjoy the conference as much as you find the takeaways useful. This is only our first effort to put something like this together, and I promise that every year we will be back with a bigger and better version of Samvad. Thank you all, and more power to Sitlob. And as we say at Sitlob, united we stand and together we shall grow. So thank you so much everyone, and handing over the virtual mic back to Madhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandeep. As usual, amazing discussion. Before we proceed, I would like to hand over the virtual mic to Biraj. Biraj is going to help us understand the balloon panel and navigate through the system. Over to you, Biraj.
Thank you, Madhu. Thank you very much. Welcome everyone to this nice new platform. And first of all, welcome to all the delegates, the sponsors, virtual booths, and all the rest of the participants who I don't spell specifically, but congratulations on being those ones who are part of the first annual conference by Sitlob. This is going to be exciting because we've got 120 plus right now on the platform, close to 120 actually, from different countries and from different continents. So it's an exciting time for us. We did not expect this to be so big. With that, I hand over the microphone to Madhu, and she is going to introduce our main keynote speaker for the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Biraj. Very simply and very beautifully put for us. And like Biraj mentioned, please feel free to reach out to us in the chat box so that we can assist you with any issues that you are facing. Sandeep very aptly said today that the economy is slowly moving back to normal. The picture is not very gloomy. And what better to talk about today than to talk about business innovation and reinvention? Our keynote today will address the same topic. Innovation and business reinvention are the lifeline of a business economy, prosperity and survival, which is what we need right now. It is my pleasure and honor to introduce Steve Chu, President of Treehouse Strategy, a management consulting company, and Steve is also the founder director of Glocalization Organization of Asia Pacific, known as GOAP. Steve is in business of helping companies grow and get to the next level. He has more than 20 years of diversified management experience in general management, sales, marketing, and operations. After spending more than a decade in the financial communication industry, managing Asia operations, US operations, technology, product development, and marketing, Steve founded Treehouse Strategy with the purpose of using big data and business analytics to drive business growth. Steve, we are very, very happy to have you today with us to share your thoughts. And I must say that there couldn't have been a more apt keynote today for us in India, specifically because this is Sitlop's first conference, Samvad. So welcome to Samvad and over to you.
Thank you very, very much for that wonderful introduction, Madhu. Well, again, thank you very much for inviting me to be the speaker today. I'm very, very honored. Good morning, everyone. And I am hailing from New York, so it's actually in the middle of the night for me. But nonetheless, I'm very, very excited to be here. The title of my presentation today is Innovate or Annihilate. And as Madhu said, I will be speaking about innovation to everyone. So myth or truth number 4, which actually goes to the core of my presentation. You either innovate or you perish, right? There's a saying in academia. And in academia, the people who are academics and or researchers, they either have to publish or perish, which sort of speaks to the importance of doing research and being able to publish that research. And I think it's the same thing for business as well. Well, what happens if companies and we don't change as business professionals? Would something magical just happen? This is one of my favorite quotes from Edward Deming, who is widely considered the father of the modern total quality management movement. And Dr. Deming said that it's not necessary to change. Survival is not mandatory. So this really, again, speaks to this Darwinian concept, right? The survival of the fittest. If you don't change, if you don't adapt with the trends, with the times, with changing consumer tastes, or with changing technologies, there is nothing that guarantees your company's survival. I'm sure that many of us as business owners oftentimes come across employees who are resistant to change. And I used to tell them, change is mandatory, but survival is not, is optional, right? This is sort of a play on Dr. Deming's famous quote. And it's really about how all of us as professionals, whether we are business owners or we're professionals working in a company, that change really is mandatory. However, our survival is not. Well, we know that the demographic changes drive economic activities, right? We can cite tons and tons of statistics about how the demographic changes will affect economic activities. And certainly the demographic changes in India will drive many of these changes. According to the World Economic Forum, I think by 2030, India will have an economy that is largely led by the middle class. So there's going to be upwards of 80% of the households in India will become sort of middle income, up from about 50% today, according to the study done by the World Economic Forum. So that's certainly one trend. and this upward mobility from into the middle class, or this middle class rising, is going to give way to increased economic power and consumption. And the study has also shown that people will not only buy more things, they will spend approximately half of their increased buying power on buying more things, but they will also spend the rest on buying better things. And the gig economy, the millenniums, there's also, the demographic changes are also showing that probably up to 3/4 of the population will be people born in after the 1980s. So by definition, that sort of makes them the millennials and Generation Z. And for that generation, they're more accepting and more embracing more of the so-called gig economy. Right? If you look at these gig economy platforms for digital tasks and for knowledge workers, there are actually a few websites, few platforms listed here. Things like TaskRabbit, Fiverr is another popular one. Also Upwork, right? We can find many professionals from India on these various platforms participating in the gig economy. And I'd like to end with this particular quote from the study, which I find to be very, very fitting for our talk today. And the World Economic Forum, and this is sort of a direct quote from them, is that firms in India will thrive by innovating for India and embracing a founder's mentality. This founder's mentality is really going to be a huge asset that is going to drive innovation for India as we look forward. So with that, I would like to conclude my talk.
So we couldn't have had a better keynote today for this event. Thank you very much. Appreciate the time you spent with us. Specifically, you were talking to us today from the US. It's really late in the night. And I'm sure the audience had a wonderful time with you. The examples were new. They were related to the current situation. So thank you very much.